What is good, everybody, man? Welcome into the Bluebloods official podcast of FCS Football Central on SI. Your host, Zach McKinnell, as always, joined by my co-host, Coach Leroy Frederick. Man, Coach, regular season pretty much over. We got like two more games that, one's a Turkey Day Classic. It's a D2 game. Not really. I'm not really pumped for it. And then we had the Bayou Classic. Man, Gramblin's got a chance to win. Was it 8 games this year, Coach? It's been a
Yep,
long
yep.
time since Grambling's won 8 games, so that's a big game for them. And Southern looking to, I would if they lose that game. I don't know if they've ever been winless, but I would imagine that would be the worst season in Southern football history. So actually, a little bit, I guess, on the stake for the Bayou Classic, man. But Coach, how we feeling, my man?
Man, that would be crazy now that we think about 1-10 or 1-11. I'm sure that hadn't happened in a long time. But man, feeling good, Jack, man. Just happy to be back on with you. I think you forgot one game though. Uh don't we have Valley fam?
You won't talk about a game that means nothing. No offense to either team, but talk about a game no one's excited for. Because I think they said they're letting everybody in for free
I love it.
for that game. I want to say I saw something. I don't know if it was a parody account or what, but I have a feeling that I don't think there's going to be many people going for free on Thanksgiving
It's,
weekend.
yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be
It,
tough, man.
obviously, we got to get a little bit into week 13, but did you have a chance to watch the Bayou Classic?
Yes.
You saw the last play
Yeah,
or the
yeah,
or the
yeah.
coach? Now listen, shout out to the ONG Strike Zone over on the Black College Sports Network. They had they have like a film show or like a recap show on Monday nights, Coach. And they brought Coach Cole on, they brought Bishop Bonnet on, former all conference, all American running back there at FAM. And they were breaking down the film of that play, Coach. And with all the football knowledge on that show, there was still a like confusion on like what coverage they were running.
They should have
I
been
mean,
four deep quarters, or
that's what
I don't want to say prevent, but that's what they should have been in. There should have been no underneath corner. They should have been
no,
in the back. Should have been four deep quarters, old school quarters.
yeah. And I'm just confused a little bit, man, because you look at that safety, man. Almost like he just, coach, if you're playing quarters, man, and you bite
So
on
what?
like a post route, like what are we doing?
Well, that's why I said there should have been four deep, old school quarters. Keep it in front, tackle it on the ground. But it looked like it was some form of. I would even go to some type of inverted two because the corner was underneath that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And basically, that third of the field was vacated, and then everybody realized, oh snap! And by then it was just too late.
He was wide open too. He was wide open. And coach, I get FAMU fans' frustration, man, because like this year they've lost some like inexcusable games, and they have had some atrocious performances. And you just wonder, like with Colsey, man, like if you lose to Valley next week, what is the
Jeez.
conversation? Like that's back to back losses against Valley. You choke away the Florida Classic. You got blown out at home by Jackson. You got blown out at home against Alabama State. You got blown out at home against North Carolina Central. It's like, man,
Yeah,
where's the silver lining for the season?
and that's going to be a really tough game, B, to get up for all the reasons we just talked about. Holidays. I'm sure those kids are a little upset, still down in the dumps about losing the classic. And then on top of that, all your friends at school are going home. You're staying there practicing for this game, which is, a big game because it is a game. But, campus has been dead this week. If it's anything like the place that I used to work at, it's been hell trying to get your meals uh, because of that kind of deal. So it's one of those things where it's kind of it's going to be tough to get those kids up.
And Carlton said there is no conversation. We thank you for we thank you for the service, and we get the new head coach. So, maybe that's the move. I don't know, but coach, there was one team, man, that ended this past weekend on a really, really high note. South Carolina State, coach, another perfect season in conference play for Chinnis Berry. That's back-to-back seasons in the MEAC where he's undefeated, 4 consecutive seasons of being undefeated in conference play for this staff and Chinnis Berry. Coach, you just go through their season, man. Like, I thought this season was going to go the opposite. Like, you look at
Yeah.
Wofford, right? They squeak by, like, Wofford misses a kick to lose that game. You compete well with South Carolina, but FBS loss. You win a shootout with Bethune, you lose another FBS game. Then you get upset by Charleston Southern, who was one of the worst teams in the country. Man, and then you struggle with A&T on the road, 22-16. And then, coach, it's like they just clicked into gear when, like, they looked up, it was conference play, and this team turned a corner. And I really do think a lot of this has to do with how good Billy Atkins was at quarterback. It took them a little while to kind of figure out who they were going to be at quarterback. But once Billy got going at quarterback, the run game started clicking a little bit, and this team was really good. And again, I want to give a shout out to your guy, Coach O Daffer over there, man. He has, I think, Coach, if you would have told him and showed him the end of the year performance with all the stats and analytics and said, this is what you're going to get out of your defense. You told him that in August. He was like, man, where are we finding all like squeezed every bit of potential out of this defense that he could, I think. Man, this was a clinic by this coaching staff, man. And same for Williams on the offensive side, right? Ton of new faces on the offensive side too, from Williams to O to Chinnis, man. This was an outstanding season for them, man. And they get it done against Dell State, win the MEAC again.
And it's it's crazy when you go and you look at the numbers from that game. B, they both had super offensive inputs as far as yardage goes. But like you said, when you turn a team over 4 times, uh, your defense is doing something, your special teams are doing something, and that's the name of the game, football. And O got those guys tackling that ball, they're running to the ball. Um, it's going to be an interesting matchup, no matter who winds up in Atlanta versus them. I want to see if they still play that way, if they can keep the rust off, which will be the conversation that we'll have again because of time off between them and the national championship game, to see how they start, man. And that'll be a very interesting piece right there. But, you held Dale State 5 of 16 on third down. That's getting off the field, man. That's
Man,
getting off the field.
it's very rare that you allow 439 rushing yards, 9.3 yards per carry, coach, and somehow South Carolina State still had 12 tackles for loss. I mean, you would think that's not how that would have went. And again, man, listen, Caden Bennett did his thing on the ground, but again, man, like I told you in the preview, coach, I had no X's and O's to support. It was just a gut feeling Dell State was going to find a way to get it done. When Caden Bennett doesn't play well through the air, man, it limits what this offense can be. And you mentioned the 4 turnovers, both quarterbacks throwing 2 interceptions apiece. You cannot win like that against a team like South Carolina State that has a quarterback like Billy that can make plays. And they weren't I would say as explosive on the ground, coach. They still averaged over 4 yards per carry, 157 yards. Like they still
Yeah.
committed to running the football, and it was kind of similar to what we saw against what was it, NCCU, where early on the run really wasn't working, but they just we're not giving it up, man. We're going to keep running the football, keep running the football. Then they broke one, then they broke 2, and then it all kind of spiraled out of control. And I think even at wide receiver, man, Jordan Smith, was it Jones had the big touchdown, like 50+ yarder. So I was really impressed with South Carolina State. Now that I wanted to get into this game, coach, because this is going to lead us to our next topic, which is the postseason awards. Offensive and defensive player of the year for the MEAC aren't announced till December. They have a special ceremony at the I think it's like the NFF meeting or something like that, or award ceremony. But coach of the year, they gave to Chinnis Berry and South Carolina State, coach. And there was a massive discourse on social media about that should have been Deshaun Jackson. Who should, in your opinion, if you were voting, who would your vote have gone to for Coach of the Year?
It would have had to be Deshaun Jackson, just because of what he did with that program. I don't know if you could code that thing, but there's an argument to be made for Coach Berry as well. But I think there's a bigger argument for Coach Jackson, taking that program from where it was to basically 30 minutes away from taking it to a national championship game. What he's done in that amount of time, I think it should have been him. But, again, there could be an argument for Coach Berry back to back, no conference losses. Um, but if I had to vote, my vote would have been Coach Jackson.
Okay. If I had to vote, it would be for Jackson. I'm with you because this team was 1-11 last year, winless in conference. Coach, a lot of the top contributors that we'll mention, if we kind of break down who were the top players on this team, were guys who were on the team last year. So how was he able to elevate the talent that the previous guy was not able to win with? That's got to count for something. And I don't know the full history. I would have to look just because I don't know it off the full top of my head. But man, it's been a while since they've won this many games. And
Yeah, I can't remember. Someone said it. It's been close to 10, if I'm not mistaken, huh?
I would think so because I know they won 10 when they won the MEAC in I think it was 2012. They won the MEAC the last time. I need to double check that. No, 2007. They won 10 games in 2007. That's when they won the Black National Championship. That's
And
a
it
long time.
kind of fell off the hinges after that, so to speak.
Yeah, for sure.
But I
Now,
mean, I get it. I get it. But
and that's where I was going with Ed is like, I told everyone on HBCU Nightly Sunday night that Chinnis was going to win it. Historically, the MEAC has given it to the guy who won the conference every year. So I would imagine that Chinnis would win it. And there does have to be something said, right, about going undefeated in conference for 2 consecutive
yeah,
years and winning. And he returned, I think, 5 starters from
lost a
last
lot
year's team to
from
this
last
year.
year's
So
season. Yeah.
it was a really good coaching job. Now, because here's where I want to take the conversation, Coach. I'm obviously a voter for the national awards for the FCS. Is it really fair that the North Dakota State coach never wins it because he just wins games
Expected.
every year?
Yeah. He's
Right? Like
expected to
when
win.
when we look back, Coach, on history, would it be crazy if the guy who won the championship never was the coach of the year? So I get it from that perspective because the guy who won the championship should get it, but man, like I really find it hard. Like when you have a unique situation like this, because I don't think you have a lot of years where you have a guy go from 1 to 8 wins. I still think you got to give it to DJ.
Yeah, you got to. And again, like I said, there's an argument for what we're saying with Coach Berry, but
Oh yeah,
I don't know if this is the one time you make the exception and you it to stick with tradition, so to speak, of giving it to the winner. But there's no way you don't recognize what he's done with that program. And each year is different, so you don't know what next year is going to be. But we're talking about this year. Uh, he did a complete 360 with that deal, um, and he probably should and will get votes for National Coach of the Year if there is such a thing.
yeah,
Uh,
he's a
that
finalist.
that he's included in. So definitely, I think he needs to you know be recognized for that. But I'll ask you this: so I'll spin what you just said back to the MEAC conference. So does the Player of the Year have to come from the team that won it?
Um, okay, so historically in the MEAC it does. So I would imagine that yeah, it probably would. Now here's where the problem comes though, okay? South Carolina State only had 5 first team selections. North Carolina Central had 12.
And you know how me and you feel about that, right? So, so how many did Dale State have? How many did Norfolk have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could tell you this. So looking at because they announced the Leading the first team, Central with 12, Dell State with 6, South Carolina State with 5. Morgan and Howard had 2, which means Norfolk did not have a first team selection.
Nothing. Wow.
They didn't deserve coach. They were
No,
terrible.
I mean,
No, like they were bad.
no kicker, no nothing.
Well, now Norfolk got 2 second team selections. No, yeah, 3 second team selections.
I'm with it.
One of them was a return specialist. So I don't know. Like that's it.
He got a lot of work, didn't
That there you go. He did that. I guess
he?
giving up all those touchdowns. But I mean, here's the question: like, if you had just without knowing who's on first and second team, coach, who on South Carolina State would you give offensive to?
I
Quarterback?
mean, yeah, I say that award goes to usually the signal caller, so to speak.
He's second team
Um,
all conference. So,
that's gonna be a stretch, no doubt about it.
well, in the preseason, they gave the second team running back preseason offensive player of the year. So maybe we go 2 for 2 and just give second team quarterback postseason MEAC offensive player of the year. I mean,
Oh man,
I would imagine though, based on first team coach, I don't think South Carolina State's going to win offensive. It'll probably come down to Walker Harris or Marquise Gillis, quarterback at Central, running back at Dell State. I
yeah,
would imagine I think they might lean Gillis just because of the improvement, but man, it's hard with against a quarterback.
yeah. That award is normally that unless you do work.
Yeah.
And the kid from Dale State, makes an argument for that as well. Because there were times you knew he was getting it, and there was nothing you could do about it. But I think Harris ends up setting a record or two or something like that this year.
Hmm.
So he's going to have the numbers to do it. But the voters, I think, sometimes tend to go with what they know as far as programs, and it wouldn't surprise me if it does wind up to be NCCU player for that award.
The defensive player of the year, though, I think will go to South Carolina State. They'll either give it to the defensive end, Lunds, he was a Tulane transfer, had a stupid year, or the corner, Gerard Washington. Like man, he's been
Did he
outstanding.
have
He
double
was
digit picks?
no, I don't think he had double digit picks, but I know he had double digit pass breakups. I want to say, but he was a preseason FCS All American coming into the year. So like the kid is, I mean, plus he's like
Balling.
6'2", man. Like the kid is ridiculous. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, no, but he had 20 pass breakups this year. That's
Yeah, that's
insane.
that's doing work.
Yeah, like that's tough. I would lean Gerard Washington, but I want to say the DN though. I need to pull up the MEAC stats. I want to say he had double digit tackles for loss and sacks. Like he led the MEAC in both, I want to say. Well, he was second in tackles for loss with 15 and a half, and then he had 8.5 sacks. So he was second for tackles for loss and sacks. So it would probably lean the corner, I would imagine.
That'd be nice. Something different.
Yeah, but no, I had to get your opinion on the Coach of the Year award. And someone asked in the chat, I think it was Carlton. He said, he understands what you're saying, coach, but he wins big in these conference games. He has back to Benedict, but can he win the big game? Like, will that define his career winning the national championship?
Mm. Well, be back when I was with the program that I was just with, it was always you could get to the natty, but you can't win it as a program. And I think at some point in time, you've got to do that uh, to get that statue built in front of the stadium. And I think that's what, at some point, Coach Barry's going to have to do that um, on that stage. Because, again, you can rack up so many 8-win seasons, 10-win seasons, and everybody's going to be like, yeah, but I can't win the big one, and
Yeah.
you know how that goes. So once you get that tab, it's tough until you get it off of you.
Do you think that if he goes to the Celebration Bowl and loses it, do you think that's a tag he gets, like the guy who can't win it?
I definitely think so.
Mm.
I definitely
Just
think so.
two, like even if he gets back and wins it like in year 3?
But and I think that goes back when he says, the Benedict thing. I think that goes to the playoff loss. It was such high expectations for that, and then I
Knocked
think
out
they
first
got,
round.
yeah.
Yeah, they got bounced in their
uh,
first game.
yeah. So I think all that kind of goes with it. Um, I think if he does do that, if they do lose, I think that tag is kind of thrown out there at that point.
Do you think it makes a difference if they get blown out like they did last year, or if it's like an overtime game, last second play, you still think? Because I think it changes it for me, right? Like if they're competitive, because let's just say PV or Jackson, right? It's funny. I think the tag would be worse if they lost to PV. Like if let's just say PV upsets
Yeah,
Jackson, if South
yeah,
Carolina State goes to Atlanta and loses to PV,
yeah.
I
It's
don't
in
even care.
caps.
Like, it might not even be even if it's a close game, man, the tag's
It's
there because now you lost to a first-year
yeah.
coach now, PV. No one
It's a
predicted PV to be at the Celebration Bowl. It's a whole thing.
yeah.
If you lose to Jackson close, coach, I do think there will be some people that take a step back and say, "Man, like everybody in the world said Jackson was gonna repeat." Man, they played Jackson to 3 points. It was one of the more competitive games outside of Alabama State. You know what I mean? Like, I do think that could change the conversation a little bit.
I think if it happens to PV, it's in all caps. Definitely in all caps. And
Jackson
then
would not if Jackson makes the Celebration Bowl, there's no way Jared Lockhart's starting a quarterback. So, I'm assuming Jacoby and Morgan will start the Celebration Bowl, barring a massive change of heart.
well, the kids got him this far. Uh, but back to it, I think if he loses to Jackson, I still think it's the same thing, B. Um, especially, and I think it becomes worse if it's a blowout, like last year. But I still think it's a tag that he'll pick up
Yeah.
if they lose that game.
That's fair. I don't know when the SWAC announces. I'm assuming it'll be sometime this week. Um, maybe after Thanksgiving. Oh, well, I guess it's gotta be after Thanksgiving because of the 2 games this week. So,
Still playing, yeah.
yeah, so next week, are you still with me? Like, I still think Body's the offensive player of the year this year.
Yeah, yeah.
And
He's the feel good story, no doubt about it.
I could also too, the thing that hurt I know people are like, "Man, Body hasn't played in a while," but damn, man, like, the 2nd place guy hasn't played either because the guy that was right behind him was probably gonna be Jacobian. He's out. So I would imagine they're still gonna give it to Body. I see listen, I see Rembert if they give it to a wide receiver, it's going to the kid from Bama State. Like, his stats are much better than Rembert's. I wanna say he has, like, 300 more yards than Rembert and, like, 3 more touchdowns. Rembert's great. I'm not taking but, like, if we're giving awards, like, it's gotta go to the kid from Bama State over him. Now, maybe Ahmad.
Yeah,
I mean, because Ahmad's
I
over
don't.
1,000.
I and until that happens, B, I gotta lean Body just because numbers, no doubt, and again the feel good story of it.
Yeah.
And he was on a tear up till the Jackson game, uh, so to speak. But I'd be surprised if it's not him. And then I think those awards are given out the week of the championship game.
Championship. Yeah, so it would be before Ahmad had another chance to add yards, and
Hey, I
there
need
is
to
such
grab this beat.
alright, go ahead, man. The other thing too, just for people in the chat as we wait for coach to get back, the other thing that would maybe help Andrew was if he got to play this weekend against Tuskegee, because that would be a stat padding game. So we'll see, but also too, Ahmad is, like, I think the only person even close to over 1,000 yards right now. And I think if we flip to defensive, and we'll get coach's thoughts on defensive in a minute, but I think it's probably gonna be a consensus Ivory. I would think it would be Quincy Ivory. I don't even know who would be the number 2 option there. Personally, I mean, you could like, Givens has the stats, but again, man, like, I just don't think you can give it to a guy on a one-win team that made no impact to help his team win any games, if you ask me. So I would lean the best defensive player on the best team, and to me, that would be Quincy Ivory. Um, just personally, I think Quincy Ivory is the best player in. I think he's the best defense player in the SWAC. Like to me, we haven't put together our FCS All American team yet, but I would imagine Ivory is going to be in consideration for one of the edge spots. I, We'll see. Edge is tough in the FCS this year, but I would consider him, especially with his versatility. I don't know if many other teams have the guy that can drop back into coverage like him. The only other person I could think of, maybe, and they don't give it to DBs a lot, there's a corner at Bethune that's had a stupid year, and then the safety at PV. I think it's Trevor Randall, the ULM transfer. He's had an insane year. I think he's got 3 interceptions this year, a bunch of tackles. That would be the type of defensive back that would probably earn some consideration, but I think it would be unanimous Ivory, if you're asking me. And I think Coach of the Year is probably simple, and that would it would be probably be TC for me because I don't think anyone had a massive turnaround. I don't know. I say TC, but they might give it to Tremaine. And if I'm not mistaken, Tremaine is up for the FCS Coach of the Year. I have to double check that, but if that's how I'll be honest with y'all. If y'all ever want conference awards to be spoiled for some of these conferences, the FCS watch list for some of these awards drop before conferences release all conference awards. And so if you see a player like on the Jerry Rice Award or the Walter Payton Award, it's because nominated him, and that's why he's one of the finalists for these FCS awards. So that's just kind of like a cheat code for y'all. Um, and so I'm looking here. I don't remember if TC was on the watch list for the FCS Coach of the Year award. He was not. So I would imagine Tremaine might actually have a chance at that one because he was a finalist for the Eddie Robinson Award, which is interesting, right? And I also noticed that Chinnis is not on here either. So that's very, very interesting. So I would lean TC, but it could be Tremaine depending on how the votes play out there. I saw a question here about the transfer portal, about what the official dates are for the transfer portal. So, um, Mr. Carey, so if you see players entering the portal right now, it is because they are just announcing their intentions to enter the transfer portal. So if you pay really close attention to people's posts, it is I plan to enter the portal or this player plans to enter the portal. They can't officially enter till January 2nd. It's like January 2nd through like the 16th is the official portal window. That's when players can officially enter their names and be in the portal. You have that small one-time window in early January. You get in the portal, and then obviously, just to clarify for people, you don't have to sign or commit in that window. That is just the window that you have to enter the portal. Once that closes, you're locked in, man. So there is no spring window this year. There's no extra window where a player can sign with you, go through spring practice, and hit the portal again. Which is, there's been a lot of conversation about whether that helps or hinders the FCS. And where I think it helps is if you can get your guys to stay committed early, right? And you got this real tight window. There's a lot better argument for FCS coaches to be like, man, don't be one of thousands and thousands of names to hit the portal. And unless you, and I'll be honest with you guys, there's been a lot of tampering, and a lot of these players you see hit the portal already have deals with other teams. So they're hitting the portal knowing exactly where they're going and or having a small list of knowing where they're going. They already have it down to 5, 6 teams potentially. But I think the one-time transfer window really helps the FCS in the fact that you look at a team like South Dakota, nobody entered during the first portal window, but in the second portal window, they got tampered with all over the place because a bunch of these FBS schools go through spring training. They go through camp and spring games and stuff like that. And what they'll do is they'll look at their roster and say, man, that high school left tackle we recruited, he's a 5-star, but he's not ready to start. We missed on our eval on this transfer wide receiver from North Texas. Man, we need to replace him in the portal. Let's go tamper with the best wide receiver at name said FCS school, and they'll just re-recruit the positions of need. Where it hurts the FCS though is we already know a lot of FCS programs don't have the same scouting departments, don't have the same resources in terms of around the coach. You have to nail your evals immediately. If you miss on a player or you miss on an eval, it becomes much more costly for the FCS program because you don't have a chance to get it right. So if you recruit a quarterback to be your guy in January and he's not your guy, listen, you might be out of luck. You're not going to be able to do the FAMU thing where you miss on a guy early and then you go sign the Toledo kid later on in the spring. You have to land your guy, and you have to have your emails, your evals done appropriately, and you have to be a good evaluator of talent. If you aren't, you're not going to be a very good team. And so, what I think this new portal window is going to do is actually expose which staffs, which coaches are good at evaluating talent, and yeah, it would happen both ways. The FBS players not getting reps they thought they would. You're gonna have a bunch of coaches lying to players about their roles, and man, we're gonna feature you more. Just stay till January 16th. If you stay till January 16th, man, I promise we're gonna feature you. We're gonna feature you, and then we get to spring, and you're gonna be stuck there. That's the one bad thing. And yeah, the window is just about entering. They can sign whenever. Uh, Shout out to Lionel, man. PV versus everybody. Do you think some players will wait to make decisions till after spring ball since they get one shot this year? Well, they can't. There is no spring window this year, so it you can't wait till spring ball. You have to enter during that January window. There's no other window anymore. You only got that one shot, so you don't even have a chance to wait till spring ball. Uh, Now the one caveat though, Lionel, is I guess if yeah, I would not imagine many players wait to sign till after spring ball. I see what you mean now, but I wouldn't think so because you put yourself at such a disadvantage to earn a starting spot, right? If you're transferring to a program that need you and you just slow play it, a lot of these coaches are going to recruit over guys' heads. If I really can't wait till Coach Fred gets back because he'll tell you this. A lot of coaches will have, let's just say you're a position coach, right? You're the wide receivers coach at Tennessee Martin or whatever. If if your head coach tells you you can only sign two wide receivers, listen, you got a list of about, let's just say, 8 guys that you've evaluated. That's who you want out of the portal. If your number 3 prospect commits, you got to tell your number 1 and 2 prospect, listen, man, the first one to commit is the guy I'm taking. The other one of you, we don't have a spot for you anymore. You either commit before the second spot's taken, or we got to let you walk. You don't have a scholarship here anymore. And so what will happen is the number 2 or even like the number 4 guy will commit. Well, now 1, 2, and the rest of those guys have to go elsewhere. So I think you really, really risk losing your spot potentially and losing a ton of your offers if you wait till after spring ball. And also, too, with there's still limits on how many guys you can have in the room. So if even if a school, especially an FCS school, doesn't like somebody, if you're waiting till after spring, you really have to be hoping they have the extra scholarship to bring you in, unless you're walking on, I guess, and you're cool with no money and you're just a walk on guy for them. So I think a lot of these guys will sign before before spring ball is over. Person that would be my assessment of it, and I'll ask Fred when he gets back. If you guys got any other question, man, just put it in the chat. When Jermaine loses the SWAC championship game, will it go to TC? Well, the SWAC awards are announced before the SWAC championship game, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think that would influence anything personally. So we'll see. Coach, you back?
Yes, yes, yes.
Sweet. Man, we got into some portal talk here. We were asked about the portal window. Now you only got what, the second through the 16th now, the 19th,
Yep,
something
yep.
like
One
that.
time.
There was a question of, do you think do you think that short of portal window and just having one hurts or helps the FCS as a whole?
Hurts.
Oh,
Um,
hurts. I said it helped. Okay, so I want to hear.
well, I say it hurts because now you are making kids make a very, very quick and maybe not as thought out of decision because they've got to make sure that they get in an amount of time to be able to get the looks that they want. And I think that hurts our level because those kids now are immediately starting to shop toward the end of the year. You know, if those kids out in the portal now, that didn't just come to mind yesterday. You know, they've been thinking about this for a minute. And, you know, I don't know if you can draw it back to their play or whatever. But I think it hurts because it puts more pressure on them to speed up their decision, which makes their decision making process start way earlier in the year, whether you know you want to believe that or not.
Do you think, and Lionel PV versus everyone asks this, do you think there's any chance any players wait till after spring practice to sign?
I think some are gonna have to.
Oh, have to.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I think some are gonna have to because they're gonna wait too long uh to get in, you know, waiting on that one big offer to come. You know, we see it every year, and it's been more so now, uh, where kids are saying, "Hey, grateful for my 30th offer," and you know, it's one of those deals like you got 30 of them, bro. Okay, so what are you looking for that you haven't found in all 30 of those other ones? You can only take 5 visits, so you know, there's going to be 25 people that can't get to see you, or you can't get to, you know, go see them. So, you know, again, you got 30 offers. What are you looking for? And I think what's going to happen is those kids are going to wait because, and I'm just throwing a school out there, West Texas A&M is not big enough. I think I could actually go here, and they're going to wait and they're going to bet on themselves, and then they're going to wind up one of those situations where they catch something late, or they end up walking on at a USA or you know a Southern Miss type thing, trying to prove themselves to you know be able to get money.
Yeah, because my answer to that was probably not many players are going to wait because, like you said, I still think players need to know. Like I use the example: if you're the wide receiver coach at UT Martin, your head coach says, "Coach, you got 2 spots for transfers." You might have a list of 8 guys that you evaluated. Like those are the 6 guys you'd be okay with. If one of those commits, you got to tell the other guys, like, I got 1 spot left. Like, if you
That's
don't
it.
commit before this other spot's gone, like, we're
What I
done.
got. Yeah, I mean, I've moved on. You know, where are you at in your process? And you know, again, a lot of them start to slow play it because if you're not that power five, group of four, whatever, if you're not that, they really don't want to hear that right now. Especially if they're leaving from an FCS program. A lot of kids that are leaving from FCS B are looking for that mid major or above. You know, they're not looking for uh, UMass. You know, they're not looking for that. Um, they're not looking to go from you know D2 to HBCU to SWAC or MEAC. They're not looking for that. They're looking for something bigger. And of course, you know, people have those departments to where they can look through these things, but you know, the process that goes into that and trying to get visits, this thing's gonna go really fast. And I don't know if those kids really understand. Like when that thing opens, it's gonna be a rush to close because people have got to get kids in and ready to go. You got to get in school, you got to get your housing, you got to get all that stuff taken care of for the January semester. And you got to realize now a lot of schools will be closed. What that second week,
Mhm.
maybe a little past that second week of December, and then everybody's out until after the new year, and then it's a real mad rush to get into school.
Excuse me. Do you think I don't know, because I was talking to a coach today, and I think it's gonna be record numbers again this year, man. I really do. At the end, I just really wonder, man, is there enough money for everyone who thinks they deserve to be paid what they value themselves? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I just I'm a little bit worried, like, especially listen, if I see the kid who ran for 2,000 yards at Monmouth hit, bro, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna wind up somewhere. Like, the kid's a baller. Teron Dickens from Western Carolina. He's going to be okay. Like, someone's going to pick him up. He's gonna be fine. But, bro, it's the kids that are still posting practice film hitting the portal today.
Yeah.
I worry about them, man. Like, I just don't know. And especially with some of the agents reaching out. Like, I talked to one kid last year. He's never met his agent in person.
That's
Ever.
insane.
And it was taking 20%, coach. Taking 20%.
That is insane. That is insane.
And he and wound up at a G5 school, coach. I guarantee didn't get an NIL deal over 50K.
That is insane, and because nobody wants to take $300 or a month or $300 a week kind of deal. Everybody wants something way bigger than that. Everybody wants what the Utah car deal. Everybody thinks they're going to be able to get that, but I can remember a time being in college, G, when I was happy when that $25 money order came. You know what I mean? That box with the dry goods in there. The world has changed, but they still have to put a sense of reality into it that it's not enough for all of us to be able to get $1,000 a month. I mean, every 2 weeks, because they definitely would balk at $1,000 a month. But $1,000 every 2 weeks is going to be tough for a lot of people to be out there.
This is a fact. I'm gonna put my finger. This is a real thing. There are Twitter accounts out there that agents pay to promote their players hitting the portal. Like, I just want to throw this out too. I don't know if they're getting a kickback of these guys, but every FCS or D2 transfer you see Pete Nako's tweet about, or any of these like P4 reporters from like On3, 247, Pete Thamel's reporting they're hitting the portal, just know that kid's got an agent and they got a deal in place.
Got that in and put it out there.
I'm just gonna be honest. Like, if you see Pete Nako's tweet out a transfer, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're an FCS school, don't even hit the kid up. And AA is a waste of your time.
Your collective ain't that big, man.
Yeah, like he is not in your. It's like asking a girl out that you know is not in your tax bracket. It's like, she's gonna want to go to this restaurant, coach, and you ain't got the money to take her.
Man,
Don't even try.
Ruth Chris just ain't right now, baby.
Ruth Chris ain't even enough.
Oh man.
So Miss Faye, Pete's paid by On3, but what agents do is reach out to guys like Pete Nakos to promote their prospects, and if they're at a certain caliber or the agency is at a certain caliber, they'll do it for them. Like, it's all under the table kind of stuff. So yes, if you see Pete Nakos tweet a guy out, that kid's gonna be on a P4 roster next year, like 99%. Dirty game, man. It is nasty work out here.
It's a dirty game, and they've contacted those kids a long time ago.
Coach, I kind of miss the days where we get like a heartfelt message or Instagram post from these kids. Like, man, I love my time as a Catamount. But now we get Pete Nakos tweeting out 2 months ahead of time that they're going to hit the portal in January.
Like, wait a minute, we still playing. Hey, man, did you do this? Nah, that wasn't me.
Man, there's players that are going to be in the portal, coach, playing for their teams in the playoffs.
And I don't know how that works, B.
Because the portal opens from – so FCS is good, right? So the FCS National Championship's on like the 5th or 6th this year in January. So the FCS season will be over. You can hit the portal the day after, right, coach?
Yep.
Or I want to say like the FBS National Championship is not till like the 20th.
Yeah, it's next to the last week, if not the last week of the of January. Yeah, because we're talking about that earlier today.
In Carlton, yes, the players that play in the playoffs and national title will have a special 5-day window after. Because do you know how far behind you are in the recruiting process from a guy who enters on January 2nd?
He ain't far behind. He's already got it going.
And we just talked about there's only a limited number of spots, man. If you wait till January 25th,
you in trouble.
Man, how many more options, how many less options are out there? I guess would be the better way to phrase it.
if you hadn't been doing something underground in that situation, you're in trouble. You might as well ride it out where you at. I understand betting on yourself, but that's foolery if you do that.
And that's why you see these backups on these college football playoff teams hit the portal during the playoffs. They can,
Trying to get out there.
Coach, I'm not playing for Ohio State, right? I got to hit the portal. Like, damn, man. Like, I can't just sit here as the practice
My,
squad guy and not hit the portal. Like, I'm not big enough for that.
this is my senior year. I got sophomore starter, junior backup. Yeah, it's probably
It's
time.
time. It's
Probably
time.
time. If I want to play, you know what I mean? It's probably time.
So, Coach, looking at the SWAC Championship, Jackson obviously secured this weekend. PV's been locked up for like 2 weeks now. You've played, you coached against both these teams, saw them up close. Y'all, Alcorn played them really, really close both times. I think it was a 1 point loss to PV. Obviously, everyone saw this weekend. Your just initial thoughts. Obviously, me and you are going to come back next week and do a full X's and O's breakdown, man. But I just thought since it's locked in now, I want to say someone in the chat put the spread right now, Coach, way too early is 15.5.
Yeesh.
Jackson State.
Yeesh. Home field worth that much?
I don't know. You tell me.
Nah, I would if it stays at that, I would go PV. PV can run the ball. They're really good at it. I think that Jackson can actually stop the run. What happened? Y'all still with me? Thumbs up in the chat if you're still with me. I don't know what happened. I'm over in Zach's spot right now. Or am I gone? Okay. Yeah. PV can run the ball. Jackson at times has struggled to stop the run, which is why I would go the opposite way with that spread. I still think Jackson's the better team, but I think PV can take the clock and take the air out of the game. So I don't know if they can get ahead by basically 3 scores to to cover that 15.5. PV has the ability to slow the game down, and Jackson, they have a lot of talent, and they can basically hit you with those one hitters and give the ball right back to PV, and that kind of thing. So 15.5 is a little steep, but I think that yeah, they got the number 1 rush, but if you go back and you look, everybody's been able to run the ball against them effectively, and PV has a really good rushing attack, which is why I say that.
Yeah, no, my bad, man. I was trying to give you like the one finger. I've been battling this flu. Man, I was getting ready to have a coughing attack. I felt I had no water with me, so I was like, give me 1 second. But 15.5 is a lot. Like you said, that's almost 3 scores. That's over 3 scores now. I mean, has anyone? No one's beat PV by that much this year, like in terms of FCS, right?
In terms of that, yeah.
Now, here is the question, though: is if Jacobian's 100%, does that open up Jackson's passing attack enough to maybe get PV not to load the box? Because here's where I think the matchup really works in turn. Like, so for Jackson, Coach, they're going to run the football fine. Like, they're going to run the football against everybody. And I don't think PV in the front 7 is going to be able to just take the run completely away. Where the question for me comes is, one, can PV, if Cam Peters plays it, because again, it's kind of like Caden Bennett. When Cam Peters is locked in, Coach the Kid can spin it. But then we've also seen games where Cam Peters throws 4 picks against Bama State. You can't do that against Jackson. So which Cam Peters do we get? If we get a good Cam Peters and they can throw the football, because the one spot where if you do want to attack Jackson, it's through the air. Like, I don't think many people want to run into Jackson, Coach. You got Jeremiah Williams, you got those defensive tackles. The linebackers are super athletic. They play great sideline to sideline. Jackson's secondary is not bad. That's not what I'm saying. But if you had to pick your poison, you're going to try to throw it against Jackson. And the question would be, can PV throw the football against Jackson? And that's going to be my question.
I don't know how good their passing game has become since we played them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what they want to do. Although they have a good passing attack where they implement it within the tight end. They used him quite a bit versus us, if I'm not mistaken. It was a big target. Easy throws to the quarterback. I just don't know if they get behind, can they throw it well enough
Yeah, that's the question,
to
right?
come back? Yeah, I don't know. And then the question that I'll throw back to you, you still with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Am I still there?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good.
The question I'll throw back to you and throw back to the chat is, if Jacobian is not 100%, do you still play him? Do you still start him?
Give me a percentage. What percentage is he at?
If he's 80%, do you start him?
Yeah.
And how much do you insert him in the run game?
None. If he's not 100%, we're not running him. Not on design runs.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 0. Now, if he's 100%, yeah, we can incorporate some of that. But listen, I'm going to tell Jacobian, even at 100%, bro, get down. Please, no unnecessary shots. You know what I mean? Like, just let's keep this thing on track. But I think from what I'm hearing, Coach, he's already past 100. He's already past 80%. So I think there's a really good shot. And then, like someone in the chat said, even if Jacobian, like, let's just say you start Jacobian and he doesn't play well early, you can always go back to Lockhart. Like, the kid's not bad. Like, does he bring the same ceiling that Jacobian brings? No. And you wouldn't expect that, right? That's not fair to Lockhart to think he's going to be as good as your senior, right? But man, I think he's been damn good for a true freshman, just getting thrown into the fray when, Coach, his mindset from from the start of the season was, man, I'm going to redshirt. Like, this was going to be my redshirt year. I was going to have time to grow. Coach, you got thrown into the Grambling game in the second half and said, listen, man, you're a true freshman. We need you to go win us this conference championship. And Coach, he went undefeated as a starter. Like,
Yeah,
that's
he did
hard to
everything he's
do,
supposed to
man.
do.
That is so hard to do. And I do think, and I understand people are, listen, I get it, man. Fans are going to be fans, right? And they're going to be hard on their players, and opposing teams are going to have criticism of all their players, man. But I think you really got to give Lockhart a lot of credit for keeping it in the road. And yes, there were some games where they didn't ask him to do much, but Coach, you've been coaching for a long time. You throw a true freshman in there. His first start was on the road at Bragg and FAMU. Hell yeah, I don't want him to do a lot. That's just called good coaching, right?
Just
I
don't
mean,
wreck the car. Yeah, just
yeah,
don't wreck it.
but I mean, you even coached against him this weekend, Coach. He didn't do anything that was, going to be on ESPN top 10 or spectacular, but you know what he didn't do? He didn't crash the car, and he was super efficient as a passer. And that's all I want from the kid. And I think he's got a ton of potential, man. So in this season, Coach, 1,000 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks, 3 rushing touchdowns. I'll take that from a true freshman that wasn't expected to start this year. 5-0 as a starter. I'll take that all day.
Got to. The biggest stat of all, he won. He won. So you gotta know that he's feeling good. He's become more comfortable within the situation. Uh, Nothing can be. I don't think this game would be any bigger to him to where it should freak him out. Uh, so I think during the week leading up to that, you've got to figure out a way to make sure that he's getting lathered up, Jacobian's getting lathered up, just in case he does start. Then you still got your guy comfortable. He's got enough reps throughout the week to be comfortable with the game plan. So you just got to make sure that if you're not going to go with him, you got to make sure that he's comfortable with what's going to be called and comfortable mind wise that, hey, ain't nothing you've done. You've done great for us, but this is the guy. This is the guy that leads us. So just a couple mind games. I think you got to get done, got to get played, get him ready to go.
Yeah, and I'll just say this, like, I still obviously, I'm not gonna give away my prediction or nothing, and I really wanna get to the X's and O's of this game next week, so we're gonna put a pin in it here, but I was a little bit just surprised to see the spread at 15.5. I was thinking, like, because I talked to Timothy about this the other day. I wanna say like, my prediction for the spread was Jackson 8. I thought it was
Eight
gonna
and
be
a
somewhere
half.
in that 7 to 8 range, like, 1 score, they're at home, they're the defending champs. That's where I thought it would be, but man, like 15.5 is a lot of
It'll
points.
move. It'll move. It'll move.
You think so? Like, do you think it would
Yeah.
end closer to like 10 maybe? Because I mean, moving
Yeah.
5 points would be crazy.
Yeah. I think it'll move.
Okay. I'll be
I wouldn't.
I'll
I
be
wouldn't lock it in right now. I'd wait. I wouldn't lock it in right now.
okay. I think that's completely fair. Now, coach, talked a little bit about the Bayou Classic, Southern Grambling earlier. You got to pick here. Play both these teams too. Does Southern get on the right side, or does Grambling get to 8 wins?
I mean, Gramblin's the better team, in
Yeah.
my opinion. Gramblin's the better team. But all that stuff's out the window when you have those rivalry games. You have that classic. Um, I It's tough to see a Southern team possibly go 1-11. Ofer in the conference. That would be tough to see. Just because of their presence in the conference. You would hate that, but that would put them dead last on both sides, wouldn't it? They're the only team that hadn't won a conference game, if I'm
No.
not mistaken.
Did Valley win a conference game?
V- Valley hadn't won a conference game.
But if
Valley
Valley
had
beats
them beat
FAMU,
actually. I remember that.
yeah, if
Yeah,
Valley
they're the
beats
only winless.
FAMU and Southern loses, they'd be the only school. They'd be the only winless team in conference.
Fam's
That would
got
be
something else to play for.
listen. There might be some FAMU fans that just hope they lose to make a change at this point. That's how bad it's gotten down there. I'm gonna go with Grambling though, coach. I like that freshman they've had. Is it Benoit? I think he's been pretty solid as the starter, man. And man, it's been like we talked about earlier. It's been a while since Grambling's won 8 games, and coach, this has been the quietest
That's
8
impressive.
4 season of all time. I think people
All right,
just
no
kind of
doubt.
looked up and were like, "Man, 8-4? That's
Yeah,
pretty.
scary.
That's insane, right?" And I'll be honest, man. Like I never question if a team has quit, but like I just have to have a feeling, man, that Southern has just they haven't looked locked in weeks.
Yeah, that's a tough situation. They've got a lot of stuff going on around the program. Um, you know, I don't know how you get those kids locked in for this game. I know it's the Bayou, and that speaks for itself. But will that staff be able to get those kids locked in? And if something goes wrong early, will they be able to keep them locked in to keep that thing from getting out of hand? And if that thing starts to get out of hand, Gramblin's not letting up. So, uh, Southern's got a lot to play for, and it's one of them deals of where man, that's tough. That's an uphill battle for them to get those kids ready for that game and to actually go out there and compete at a high level for 4 quarters.
Mm. Well, listen, for the last you got like 10 minutes, coach. We'll take questions for like 10 minutes. from the chat.
Yeah.
So if you're in the chat and you got any questions, man, it could be FCS,
I ain't got nothing to do.
HBCU. Yeah, I'll say, but we'll take whatever questions you guys want. I do want to say this, man. I saw the person in the chat. Coach, there were some people that did not like our episode last week. And yeah, I mean, who would have thought? Listen, nothing on this program or this show or this channel is hating on anything HBCU football. You have a guy who has spent damn near his whole career coaching in the SWAC and at HBCU, and a guy who has made a living off of covering HBCUs and has said that if I had the choice to cover FCS football or HBCU football and I had to pick, coach, that distinction, I would pick covering the SWAC. I would give up all the FCS stuff. Like, keep me in the SWAC, man. I love it. I'm here. Like, listen, this show, this channel, myself, Coach Fred, we're here to stay to cover. So if we say anything you don't like, please feel free just to reach out and say, well, you don't like what we said, instead of going to other places and complaining and crying about what we said and then misrepresenting what we said. So I just want to make that very, very clear. And a lot of the topics we cover on this show are asked about from HBCU fans and FCS football fans. And we are going to give your honest opinion. If you would like to be coddled, if you would like to be lied to about what we think, we can also do that. But we are going to keep it 100% real here. We're going to talk X's and O's, and we are going to keep it about football. We never, coach, and I repeat, we never talk about the institutions themselves. It is strictly on the field, football, and that is strictly where. And yes, shout out. Listen, I got to give a shout out to Brandy and to where's Whitley in the chat. Whitley was in there too because it was clipped to me, coach, and DM to me. They Whitley and them said that they had the back because they said we were joking about like Jackson's water situation and all kind of crazy stuff. So that they were talking crazy over there. So I just wanted to correct that because I saw one of the people in the chat that said that we said that. And I just wanted to say, listen, we were asked if Alabama State would make the playoffs, and we said no because of strength of schedule. And so I just wanted to make it very, very clear that strength of schedule is strength of schedule, and we did not lie about anything we said because there was another non-win team named Monmouth, which is not HBCU, that was left out of the playoffs for strength of schedule. So I just had to get out here and correct that, coach. But coach, you back?
Yeah. You were breaking up, so I had to change real quick.
And Sonic Boom, it was a Jackson person that started this, by the way. So
what I missed? What we say?
They were saying that we were talking that we were slick hating on HBCUs on this channel, and that we were laughing about the water and Jackson and all kind of stuff like that. And I'm like, no, we had to put a pin in it and correct it.
We said something about the water?
No, we didn't. And listen, Whitley and Brandy were in the chat and corrected that up immediately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're good. We're still good. Listen, bro, we have over 500 people watching across all our platforms that we're streaming on now, man. So we love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all. But yeah, so I just wanted to correct that. But listen, man, we got 10 minutes for questions, man. Ask us anything about football. I'm ready to talk some football. But coach, I wanted to ask you because you kind of hopped off. Do you think Tremaine or TC gets SWAC Coach of the Year this year?
I think it goes to Coach Jackson. First year. But you know what, man? I wouldn't be surprised though coaches said that heck with him and gave it to Coach Taylor. But you know
what they're going to do, coach, because it's a SWAC. They're going to name They're going to name Coach of the Years.
We're going to petty it up.
Coach, how many weekly awards have been co-awards? this year. There was 1 week, bro, where they had co-offensive, co-defensive, co-newcomers. Like they had co-everything. I'm like, why don't we just give the whole SWAC a participation trophy at this point?
I just feel
Like,
the
can we
pettiness
make some
coming on,
decisions here?
man. I feel the pettiness coming on. Don't be surprised if Coach Woody down there in Cookman don't get a couple votes for Coach of the Year, man. Don't be surprised.
Oh man. Listen, Andrew, I know you watch the show. If I swear to God, bro, if we have co everything for postseason awards, I'm gonna lose it. Because they're gonna give
It's gonna
co-offensive,
happen. One
co-defensive.
of them is gonna happen. One of them is
Oh yeah,
going to
they're
happen.
for sure going to give one. Oh my God, man. And I'll say this, I do agree. Like I do wonder, because there is one coach that has been very outspoken about how he feels about his program. I do wonder if they don't give it to Tremaine, if my man's gonna let the swag hear it.
Oh man, you
Especially,
know
coach,
something's gonna happen.
imagine if they give it to TC and he upsets Jackson in the SWAC championship.
They're
Ooh,
gonna have to go take that.
that post SWAC. Oh my God.
They're gonna have to take that the nameplate off the trophy. They're gonna have to pop that off and put some athletic tape and write his name on there if that happens.
Oh my God, man. Could you imagine? Now, coach, there is Brandy asked, do we think Hampton, Alonzo Hampton, head coach at UAPB, coach's contract is up, and now it's up to UAPB to talk about if they give him an extension or they move in a separate direction. Um, you can answer if you want, but just my opinion, I think they move in a different direction. I just don't think the program has shown enough right now to justify giving him an extension personally. Now, the question becomes, who do they go and hire? I don't know. I've given my thoughts on it. I thought Chris McCullough down at was it UT Permian Basin at the Division two level. Chris McCullough is in was born in Palm Bluff and everything. Would love to see him come back. He graduated from Henderson State, but I just don't think I love Coach Hampton's energy, man. But Coach 9-26 over 3 seasons, 5-19 in the SWAC, never finishing above fifth in the SWAC West. I don't think you can give him an extension.
I think everything you said is valid. Um, if it comes open, I'm gonna throw my hat out there for it, and then I'm gonna get you to come and be my publicist, and we're gonna do it the right way. But I think if they were going to extend it, uh, they probably should have done that already because they're losing players every day. I saw some yesterday. I saw a few today, and maybe my timeline just wasn't, updated. Maybe they all jumped in the portal at the same time. But that's the thing I think that administrations, uh, ads have got to pay attention to. The longer you wait, the longer it's going to be. The more kids are going to leave, and the harder it's going to be for the next person you give the job to actually come in and be competitive because he's lost half his team while waiting on being hired. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think they've got to hurry that decision or they've got to hurry the extension. But they've got to do something really quick if they want to get over being fifth in the SWAC.
Yeah, and the other thing too, it's funny that because we talk about this, and I think it was Willie Simmons that said this. He had the interview on Scotty's show with Perry on Outspoken, and I do. Willie said it's really, really tough in this space, right? Because people look at just the results. Like I just mentioned the record, right? But Willie said the questions we should be asking are they giving him enough resources to succeed? Are they giving him the
Mm,
support that they need to succeed? Do they care about winning in football? Do they want to win in football? Are they investing like they win in football?
mm,
That those are all valid questions, I feel like.
mm.
Because
And they
because
are.
because if the answer to those questions are no, does firing Alonzo Hampton and hiring someone else with no support fix the problem?
Does that give you uh, a justification to say, this is what we're just gonna ride it out for whatever? We okay with beating Valley and maybe sneaking another win in every now and then. Um, but Again, I think the administration's got to decide, like you said, or what are we going to be? Because that hurts you or that helps you when you're talking about your enrollment, uh, your endowment. That helps all that stuff. So, either we're going to be committed to it, or we only going to have it because we got to have it. That kind of thing. And if that's the case, like you said, then let Coach Hampton ride out until he can't do it anymore, and then just kind of go from there. And then you just continue to repeat that deal.
Coach, obviously, and Paris took it to the FCS space real quick for this question. Let me ask it like this. She says, do you guys think NDSU's taking it all? Coach, the playoff bracket announced this Sunday. FCS playoffs start this weekend with the first round. And I'm going to ask you the question. This has been the most popular question in the FCS space, Coach. If I gave you $1,000 and it wasn't your money, I just gave you a free 1,000 to bet, would you put it on NDSU or would you put it on the field?
I'm gonna put it on the I'm gonna put it on the bet. I'm gonna put it on NDSU.
I would
This is
too.
their time. This is their time of year. This is what they do, and they've looked really good here as of late. Um, I think I put 900 on them, and then I take 100 and put it on the field, just
Get your
to
money back.
just to save face.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm just, again, like, it's just one of those things where do I think that would I be stunned if they lost? No, coach, right? Because Montana State's good enough. Montana, um, there's a few teams in the field that maybe can get them a run if they get a weird matchup with if Youngstown makes it all the way, or North Dakota meets them in the semis, or Tarleton gives them a good run. But man, coach, the one thing they do, and you were there with me, and you'll be there again this year, man. I got to actually put in credentials next week for us going to Nashville this year, coach,
That's
for the
crazy.
FCS National Championship. I can't wait.
It's gonna be different.
Do like, and me and you talked about this. It is they are a team that just never beats themselves, and in every single key moment, they do the right thing. Whether it's if the ball bounces the right way, whether it's turnovers, whether it's scoring touchdowns in the red zone, and every single money moment, and I call them money moments or money downs, NDSU is locked in. And Polisek, this is no shot at Matt Ince, right? He's a two-time national champion. He's doing great at his G5 job. The one thing I've noticed with Polisek versus some other NDSU head coaches is, coach, he has this team so dialed in to big games. Like if there's a big game, you never see NDSU come out flat. Polisek has these guys so dialed in, and he's such a good coach. He never makes bad coaching decisions in those in those moments. And I think that part of it, the coaching aspect of it, is something that's invaluable to the conversation. When I get there, and then Miss Faye, there's been a ton of HBCU a bunch of HBCU prospects that have gotten invited to the Legacy Bowl. I mean, a ton of a ton of them. I don't have them all off the top of my head, but I know like Walker Harris. I think Jacoby and Morgan. Like, there's been a bunch. I think Alcorn had a guy accept the
Steve.
invite. Yeah, Steve. So there's been a bunch of Legacy Bowl. The Senior Bowl and Shrine Bowl have only given out a handful of invites. Like Bryce Lance in North Dakota State got a Shrine Bowl invite. Charles Demings at Stephen F. Austin got an invite, but I don't think anybody outside of that. The other Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl invites, those won't probably start going out till near the end of like probably next month. Like they'll be announced coming soon. That they haven't been announced just yet. Let's see. I'm gonna scroll through these. So yeah, no, there's no other FCS bowls right now, but there is. Excuse me, Coach. I don't know if you saw this for the national championship week now in Nashville. They're inviting 50 of the top FCS prospects to work out and interview with scouts. Almost kind of like a little combine before the Natty. Man, your thoughts on that?
That's good, man. I think the more exposure they get, the better off it is. A lot of times those guys will get the opportunity when the scouts come through campus, but a lot of times scouts aren't able to get to everybody's campus. So, there may be a guy that they wanted to see at, Tennessee Tech and couldn't get to him. And now he's got an opportunity to get in front of them and be able to take it and go farther. So I mean, I think that's a good thing to happen. Just like we talk about the Legacy Bowl, that's an awesome deal. We gotta support that. We got to keep that going because it provides so many opportunities for everybody involved with that. So again, you got to do that. And I got to think. I saw one of the question you put up. I got to believe at some point here that Kelby Givens will get an invite to one of those bowls outside of the Legacy Bowl, and then I gotta think that Walker will as well. Um, Not sure which ones, but I gotta believe that they will get an opportunity outside of the Legacy Bowl with some other bowls.
So I'm looking here. Excuse me. So Vincent Bird is looking. I'm looking at 2022. You mentioned Samarian Edwards, Marquise
Mhm.
Gillis, um, Kelby Givens, Walker Harris, Aaron Harris at North Carolina A&T, TJ Huggins at FAMU, Eric Hunter at Morgan, Drayshawn Kendrick at Norfolk, Chris Mosley from Central, Harold O'Neal from Hampton, Trevor Randall from PV, Jacorian Sewell from Alcorn, Corian Sharp. All these guys are guys that have gotten invites to Legacy Bowl, and there's a bunch more. Gerard Washington, Antoine Watt. So there's a bunch of invites that have gone out. Excuse me, for the Legacy Bowl, and I think Jeremiah will get a serious look. I do think it probably depends on how we tested a place like the Legacy Bowl. I don't know, and I love Jeremiah, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think he's going to be on like the Senior Bowl or Shrine Bowl watch list. I think Jeremiah is probably a Legacy Bowl guy, but I don't. I don't see like the Senior Bowl, and there's reasons for that, but I would think that he's gonna get Legacy Bowl, but that'll probably be the cap on that one. And coach, I am going to ask you if you want to just pass on the question. That's cool. And Alcorn fan was in here and was just wondering. He said he's hurt today because you obviously announced today that moving on from Alcorn. He just wants to know if there's any info you can give, anything you wanted to say.
Um, yeah, yeah. It's one of those situations, man, where you put a lot, you put everything into it. My whole goal was to make that the coolest place ever. To play college football, not just HBCU football, but college football. And sometimes people come in that don't see exactly what you do, what you bring, um, and they see it as maybe I don't know a threat or whatever. And that's kind of where it is. They didn't like the way I move with certain things uh, that made them
Yep.
uncomfortable, and it was just one of those situations where it didn't come from the desk of the person you thought it would have came from, which makes it even more puzzling because it's a situation where you're not with me day to day. I'm not with Blue day to day. So how can I say what Blue does uh, is not beneficial to what we got going on? So again, it's one of those deals of where I don't want to blast it. The place was good to me. I like to think that I was really good to the place. But sometimes, when people come in, they have different thoughts, and we'll just sit it right there for right now.
There you go, man. I like it. I like me and you've already talked that off camera. Someone's gonna land a damn good coach, man. I loved all the social media support you got today, man. Like, dog, that thing went viral. Everyone, and it's funny. I saw a bunch of fans say, "Why don't you come down to the school down the street?" It just make a short drive, coach, down in Mississippi, man. It,
Uh, man, those guys are rolling, man. Nobody leaving that staff no time soon. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those deals. Uh, you know, Again, B, uh, me and you years ago, you started this, and you allowed me to come on, man. I've met some really great people. Mr. Campbell, 1400, CB, I love. uh, D Love, all all through you through this. I think the branding uh, of our program, it went higher, uh, and that's hats off to you for allowing me to do that. And it's one of those situations where oh man, make that happen, make that happen. It's one of those situations of where, man, I can't thank y'all enough. I haven't went back on to Twitter yet to thank everybody for the support. It's one of them deals where we here in the space now. We're gonna be in here in the space full time until we figure it out. The one thing about it, when you get that paper from your retirement thing and they say you're good, it makes this type of thing a lot easier.
That's a
So,
fact. I need to go ahead and make my transfer portal post, man. Because wherever Coach Fred lands, that's where I'm riding, bro. So listen, I don't
um,
care if my guy winds up from UT Martin to Portland State to Stetson, bro. We rocking the hoodie when he lands there because that's my guy. So wherever Fred is, that's my bandwagon. So
and we're gonna
um
keep it rolling, baby. We're gonna keep it rolling.
yeah. I need to put together one of those long, sappy transfer portal posts, man. Listen, Alcorn, you've been great to me, but
By
I
first
got
and
to take my
foremost,
fandom elsewhere.
first and foremost.
Exactly. Like, listen, man, my time here has been great, but I'm gonna take my talents to the transfer portal. Oh man, someone say, can we get an actual Jackson State? Can you actually say it now, or are you still banned?
I said Jackson earlier. I said
Okay,
Jackson
there you
earlier.
go. There you go.
Yeah, I said Jackson earlier.
Now
Yeah,
now everybody can feel better and about that. But coach, man,
there was
been on
never
here for
there
an
was
hour.
never no real hate
Oh yeah,
for Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah,
as far as that goes, now the rivalry is the rivalry, no doubt about it, and I was in it.
yeah.
But from the head coach over there down to the DC, down to the running backs coach. Hell, the running backs coach, we're from the same area, Coach Gallen. We're from the same area. That's hometown. Quinn, I remember Quinn when he was itty bitty in the business. At Alcorn in the building. GA, his first real full time job there was with him. O, uh, man, I've been knowing O for a long time. So Coach Fred asked me that.
Bro, if people
uh,
understood like how close you were to a lot of those guys on the Jackson staff, nobody ever would have questioned that at all. Like if they
right?
could
I
see the
mean,
behind the scenes of how you and O act like off camera, like they would understand.
I mean, right to the AD. Saturday, man, we yelling and screaming across the field about a couple of those questionable calls that happened Saturday.
Well, now
We're
that you're
going
not
back and forth.
now that you're not there anymore, like are you going to get fined if you talk about the refs now? Because I just had a question, like, has it ever been this bad in the SWAC? Like from like week one to now? Good God, man.
Nah, I haven't. And then some of the explanations, and I'm good with those guys too. But some of the explanations that you receive sometimes just makes you want to, like, just your rage meter go up. You just want to shake them because it's just like you can't tell me that's what you saw. We're looking at the same thing, but you can't tell me that's what you saw. For a play, for instance, when we're moving, and we're going in for the go ahead, and I don't know if you remember the play, we snap the ball. Jalen is literally in his drop, and they blow the whistle um, for replay. Once the ball is snapped, replay can't stop it. It the play has to go on. You know what I mean? Um, and that was just one of many. And there's no way sometimes those guys see the game the way that you see it, and you can be standing right next to them. So
Yeah.
uh, there's
It's
a
bad though.
yeah,
There's been some,
yeah.
I mean, disgusting calls on like, and it's coach. Like, I would get it if it was like one crew or one ref, but bro, it is literally every single week in every single game.
There's
And,
one
and then like
call, right? There's one
and
call.
then it's even crazy because it's like if you asked every single team in the SWAC, they'd be like, "Man, the SWAC refs hate us," and it's like, okay, they can't hate all 12. Like eventually, like you would figure somebody be getting the calls. But coach, I don't understand how you ref every single team poorly. There's not even a favorite.
Like, I mean, sometimes the apology, you rather you not even get it. You know what I mean? Um,
Exactly. You'd rather the ref actually have a grudge than keep apologizing for bad calls.
Man, I missed that one. I get it, and we're all human. There's a human element, but dude, I'm standing right here next to you. There's no way you didn't see that guy grab him and pull him down to the ground. There's no way you didn't see that. That's not the way I saw it. Well, how did you see it? Because we're standing right next to each other. Oh man, but I like those guys, man. We have conversations. They may not say it's a conversation, but I try to have a conversation with them all the time. Just, hey man, we got to get better. We got to get a lot better. This is the first quarter. We got to get better by the fourth, baby. This ain't gonna work. What did he
D-Law's
say?
hilarious. He said we the only team that gets no home cooking.
No, man, that place I just left, man, it was tough. It was something about it, bro.
Bro, someone said drop the Coach Fred meme about the refs. That's really how you be looking at the refs all the time.
Oh
It is
man,
true.
I
That is
fight
a
for my
fact.
guys, man. I fight for my guys, man. I try. I try.
Bro, but there's been multiple times, and it's not just said, it's not just Mickey, but like even like TC, you can sense, coach. I'll go back and clip it. About the third quarter every game, like you could watch TC and some of these other coaches, and they'll just be tired of arguing at this point. There'll be a bad call, and the ref will be coming, and they'll just wave them off. Just I'm good. I get it. Y'all didn't see it. Just don't talk to me anymore. Like I'm over it.
Hey, it's tough, man. It's really tough. It really is. And then, the competitor in you takes over. Um, and now again, you're fussing across the field with the other team's AD and one of their coaches, and the
Had to be
adrenaline's
O.
pumping. It was O and Ed and Ashley Robinson, man. I don't even know how we locked eyes, man, after one of those calls. And they were just like they were telling me to go back, and I'm like, man, y'all know that's wrong. So it's back and forth, man. It was
Bro,
crazy.
I've died. Paris said TC said he can't afford the fines like Mickey can. Mickey will go in the press conferences and just start calling people by name when he's upset. He
Hey,
don't
what he
care.
say? Reggie gonna pay it.
Yeah, yeah, but bro, Coach Mickey said, bro, that Nebraska money's long, that LSU money's long. I just put it on my bill.
Yeah, I got it. What is it, 5,000? All right, cool.
Yeah, I got it. It's probably cathartic, right? Like that 5 grand is probably just as much as therapy would be to get the heart blood pressure down
I got
after
it
some of
out.
these games.
But I ain't got that kind of bread there back.
No, definitely
Nah,
not. He said Grambling spending all their NIL money toward fines about Mickey comment on the refs. Guys,
Hey,
man, we really appreciate y'all, man. Hour and a half. Listen, me and Coach are going to be back next week. SWAC Championship preview, Coach, and we'll probably talk some other storylines. Listen, I think there's a lot of smoke. Our guy BJ Jones, he's locked in with Southern more than anybody, man. Posted a picture of Marshall Falk and said it's time. So we'll
can
see.
we touch that real quick?
Yeah.
And we talked about it offline, but they've given away a lot of money here lately, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're hiring somebody between 600,000 and 500,000, right? How much are you giving him for his assistant pool? Where's
Mm.
that number? You know what I mean?
Well, so you would probably factor in what, like 253 for the coordinators. So if let's just say it's at 6, you've got 300K for the coordinators. That's 150 a piece minimum, right?
Got to be, right? Yeah.
So that's 9. You gotta it's way more than 100 grand to fill out the rest. So I mean, you're talking at least 1.2, 1.3, maybe 1.5 if you push it higher.
Because if he's going to make between 5 and 6, you got to think, like you said, the coordinators can make no less than 150, right? So what
I
are you
don't
gonna pay
see how you
everybody
pay a
else?
division. I don't see how you would hire a coordinator for less than 150. That's Southern.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I just don't know what you pay. What do you pay your receiver coach? What money do you have left for him? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
I mean, I guess it
Uh,
depends on what the baseline is, right? Because I mean, the wide receiver like I mean, if you're taking the low end of FCS, what is the lowest paid receivers coach making in FCS right now? 75.
somewhere around in there, I would say. No more. No
So
more than 80.
75. So,
Yeah.
so you have probably what 75 to 150 on the high end,
Yeah, that may,
125, 120.
yeah, yeah.
Because I'm thinking like on the high end, you got to include like the North Dakota States, like their wide receiver coach probably making a pretty good amount.
You think
Hell,
he's
you
making
recruit
100?
Bryce. I would bet. I would almost guarantee in DSU's. I don't know what. I don't know if they have public contracts though up there. I'd have to see.
Mm.
But I mean, you're. I mean, because your coordinators are obviously making over 100,
They're six figures, no doubt. They're six-figure guys. So are you coming back and just paying everybody across the board between
like
50
70.
and yeah, between 50, 70? Because that's all you have left, really, right? I mean,
So,
I know they
someone's
got
so
money.
Mr. Campbell said the coaching salary pool is going to be 1.5 million.
Everybody making nice. Well, that's 10 guys. 10 guys divided by 1.5. How do you make it I guess feasible
And then
for
you got to get a
everybody?
GM. GMs are all making over 100.
Man. And you got to figure he's going to bring somebody from Colorado with uh expectations of making at least six figures. I don't know what the cost of living looks like in Baton Rouge. Um, you got to factor that in too, I would think, huh?
So someone asked first year expectations for Falk. Let me ask you this. Does what you're paying him impact what first year expectations should be?
It's got to, don't it?
Like if you're making more than the North Dakota State head coach, more than the South Dakota State head coach, more than the Montana coaches, more than all these other coaches, I need that level of results, right?
You can't roll out there with no 5 and 5. uh, I don't think so. But being a person who will be a first time head coach, I think you've got to have um, that tough conversation with him, and you've got to understand that I get it. Our roster may not be what it is, and I know what we're hoping for with you coming in, but we've got to be better than 3 wins. We've got to be better than 5 wins. Um, we're paying you more than anybody at this level, so we need to be able to see that progress as the weeks go. So I think there's got to be an expectation. There's got to be a talk.
I just, whew, good Lord, man. I just think that you talking about a pressure cooker.
Oh
Because
yeah,
coach, you've coached it. Let's see. I mean, you were at Alcorn from what 2015 was your first year,
14.
14. So and listen, and I don't know, man. Like everyone knows what you're making as the head coach, and so man, if you're sitting out there at 0-5 or 2-7,
Yeesh.
bro, everyone on campus is looking at you like, bro, we are paying you 600 grand for some BS.
It's gonna be tough, right? Oh heck yeah! Somebody just put up there 150 for 10 assistants. Holla at your boy, Marshall.
Here's the other question too, though, and this is where I'm a little curious on the Marshall Faulk hire. I want to take Dion out the conversation. Dion is his own. Like, I wish people would stop like using
But
him as the bar.
you can't
There's
take him out of the conversation because that's
but
what everybody's looking for.
but nobody brings what Prime brings to the program. Is what like
No,
who
maybe one
is
other
okay.
person. Maybe one other
If
person.
if you take him out of the so outside of Dion, who would bring the same level of celebrity, cachet, resources, everything that Dion brought? If we could
Ray,
be unrealistic with the hire, you could hire
Ray
anybody
Lewis,
in the world.
Ray
Who?
Lewis, Ray Lewis. That's
I
the
don't
only
think
other
I
person.
don't think Ray Lewis is as big as Deion Sanders.
No, no, no. I'm not saying he's big, but I'm saying he's the only other that
So
could
he's the
create
only
that
person who's
same.
like comparable. Like he
He could
might not
create that same
say, but
buzz.
he's not one, but he might be 1B.
Yeah, he can create that same buzz. Marshall's not creating that buzz. Norfolk thought they were going to get that with Coach Vic. He's not creating that buzz. Um, D-Jack not creating that buzz. Um,
But
Marshall not going to create
D-Jack
that buzz.
D-Jack brought the wins though.
Yeah, he did, no doubt.
So that helps him out though, right? Like he brought the wins. And also too, D-Jack was so invested, right? Like you saw like week 2, bro, his team was locked in with what he was doing. I do think you could maybe point to Vic just because of the area. Because listen, they sold a ton of tickets and made a bunch of money.
Where
So
he's
maybe
from. Yep.
financially, but the problem was Vic didn't bring any of the wins. I
Right.
don't even know if Vic wants to coach.
And
Really and
you,
truly. Like
we all
like
have heard those
he
stories.
coach, I'm not even being funny, and I no disrespect if anyone from Norfolk's watching. He looked like he was being held hostage at times on the sideline. Like, he looked like someone went to his house and made him come coach that day. Like, he did not want to be there.
Yeah, that's tough. I think, and we've all heard the stories, but I think it's not it's not what he was expecting. Because you put a lot in this, man. You have to, um, as a head coach, especially when you go and you do all the things that you have to do. At the end of the day, you still have kids you got to take care of. You still have a coaching staff, and not to mention you still got to be able to play and win games. So it'll be interesting to see his second year how those ticket sales go. Um, it's going to be interesting to see this first signing period to see what they do. Because I think he created a lot of buzz when he first got it. Now they didn't do so good. So I want to see what that's going to look like this second one going
Yeah.
forward.
Went crazy there for a second. But the thing I'm worried about with Vic is year 1, they'll give him an excuse, right? They'll say, you know, he can go on the recruiting trail and say, come play for me. Look how bad it was. We got instant playing time to offer you. Coach, if it comes out the second year the same way, you don't have that same pitch on the recruiting trail. You know what
Yeah,
they're going to tell you on the recruiting trail? Coach, y'all suck. Like, why do I want to play for you?
I'm good.
Like he
I'm
got
good.
one mulligan, right? Like he'll recruit well this year because he's Vic. But coach, if the wins don't follow year 2, I don't think
Gonna
he's
be tough.
recruiting 3 the same way. Like, and I think that's where you kind of worry about the whole experiment is if the wins don't start to show up for Vic, you could be in a whole world of trouble.
And that's where it goes with Marshall. Like, okay, he's at Colorado. Um, there's no real substance as far as run game. Um, who did he recruit? Can he recruit outside of Louisiana? Is he going to be able to put the right staff together, or is it going to be one of those star-studded uh, staffs that we're going to come out and we were really great players, so we're going to try our hand at this coaching thing, which is totally different. And will he be able to get the support around him? And how long will that support be there? Because if you're making between half a mil, it's going to be tough. You remember the stories now. Everything was good at Grambling until Hugh Jack starts showing up driving a Maybach uh, to campus. And he wasn't winning, and everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down the bravado, young fella. And it all fell off very quick for him, you know. So again, you're right. The lunch lady over there is not gonna look at you the same knowing you make 6 and you ain't winning no games. It's gonna become real tough.
I just find it like I do think if Southern announces to hire Marshall Falk, I just don't think it's at 600. Like they're going to, I think 4 is the max, man. Like, and that's still a stretch, man. Like 400K is a lot for a coach. And I want to say, is that not what Tennessee State was paying Eddie?
Yeah. Remember, he had that massive. He came straight in, and he didn't create that buzz
Mm-mm.
like a
But you know what
prop.
he
You know what
did
I
do?
mean?
Bro,
He
you go
won.
through that staff.
Yeah,
Oh,
and he
he
put
had
people
some
around him,
killers
and
on
he
that
won,
staff, like
no doubt.
Brandon Fisher and all those guys. Like, man, they could coach. And like you said, I think with Marshall Faulk, I would be a little bit surprised to see the instant championship that you saw with like a Dion. But like you said, I think a more Eddie George type trajectory. Now the question is, Coach, is Southern as patient as Tennessee State fans?
Absolutely not. We've seen that.
Like, and that's the question, right? Because what's progress? Because listen, progress for me and you might not be the same progress for Southern fans.
Yeah, because right now progress would be what, 2 wins? Hey, we're
Yeah,
better
two
than we were
wins.
last year. Uh,
So,
three
so,
wins, we're better than we were
so
last year.
let me throw this at you. The first year for Eddie, 5-6. Second year for Eddie, 4-7. Third year for Eddie, 6-5. Then he had the breakout year, 9-4, went to the FCS playoffs. Are they going to be patient for those 3 years with a losing record?
You know the answer to that one. I think I figured out how to get the
Because
setup.
me and you would say the Eddie George experiment at Tennessee State was a success. It was good. It was a good run, right? And he was 24-22, 13-12 in conference.
But as somebody put in the chat, you can win your division, lose in the championship game, year two struggle, and there you go. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see what Marshall's buyout would be. Would it have
And
that pro spin to
600K,
it?
it's
Yeah,
got to be a
yeah,
ton, right?
yeah. That's what I'm saying. To see if it has that pro spin to it, uh, to where he has that huge deal, to where they're going to have to sit there and eat it for a little while, but they've shown they won't do that either. So it's going to be interesting, man. Anywhere from 5 to 600, man. That's got to bring something with it now.
I'm very interested. I'm interested with Hampton. Like Hampton's open too in the CAA. Like, do they nail the hire or do they, mess it up like A&T did their first hire? That's a big question. I mean, because they only get the intern, what, 1 year after they named him the full-time head coach last year in October, out of there, year
Gone
2.
today. Gone today.
I've heard a lot of Dr. Alvin Parker for that job, and I want and again, this is, it's Tony something, who's the big guy down at Southern? Tony, I'm blanking on his full name, but,
Tony
he's
Deep
the guy.
Pockets.
Yeah, he's got, like, and that is Tony Clayton. Like, he's the guy that's pulling the strings with the Marshall Faulk thing, and he is going to fund it.
Tony, holla at me, man. I know you're listening, Tony. Holla.
Listen,
We have you.
you gotta reach out to your Colorado connect, man. We're getting Coach Fred to Baton Rouge.
Holla at me, Tony. That's a
Oh,
lot of
man.
money, man. That's a
That's
lot
a
of
lot
money.
of money. And I just wanna put and I like what D-Love said, 600 so risky for a program coach that really doesn't need, like, an attendance spike. It doesn't like,
Oh,
I
they
mean,
travel well. They show
coach,
up well.
they won 1 game this year as of right now, right? We saw the Bayou Classic. At 1 game, they finished 3rd in the FCS in attendance this year. 22,000, and they sucked this year.
That is it. That is, you gotta clap to the fanism, uh, the alumni, everybody that goes to those games, man. That is dope to know that they still came out. Now they came out and probably was talking a lot of shit, but they still came out. So, that's impressive, man.
And that's what bothers me is like, and like KJ said, she took the words right out of my mouth. All they need is a winning coach. Coach, they have the fan base. They have some of that. They have, I guess, in terms of SWAC, some of the better facilities, a solid stadium, a prime recruiting location. All you need is a coach that can go coach some damn football. That's it. That's all you need,
It's
coach. Like you could tell me, I don't think they need anyone that's good at social media. I don't think they need anyone who's personable. Coach, if they had a coach that could just go win this, beat Jack, the three things you got to do every year at Southern: win the SWAC, beat Jackson. Or really, that's only the two things. If they did those two things every year, I don't even think Southern really. I'll be honest, don't really care about the Bayou Classic. If you beat Jackson and win the SWAC, if beat Jackson every year and win the SWAC consistently, they'll be fine. They'll build a statue. You got the fans, you got all this. Like I think they overthought the hire personally.
Yeah, again, reaching into fan base that they don't have to reach. And it's one of those deals of where you can find quality for less than six. And I'm not hating him. Marshall, get six, man, get six. I'm not hating, but
Oh
I'm
no,
just
I'm not
saying, man,
pocket watching, but that's a lot of money for an FCS program.
that is risky. That's risky. For an FCS, that's risky for a first time
This is what I'm talking
head
about.
coach.
$600K, you better be knocking off NDSU and out of conference play.
he I'm
Willie's
talking
stupid. She
about.
said, Coach, they're sitting in the interview. Can you beat Jackson State? Give me your plan.
Show me. Show me that game plan. But
Bro, they got NIL. Like, coach, they don't need anything else. Just get me a coach that can win. Like, and that's why I thought they were going to make a strong push for Trey. And that was a lot of the reports is that Trey was number two. But coach, hear me out. Like, if I'm Southern, Trey is number one. Marshall Faulk's
yeah,
might be the fallback plan.
I would I would really be curious to know how they got to that name and kind of go from there. Just to,
Trey or Marshall?
Marshall.
Okay. I was like, well, it's because Trey was on Dawson's staff, right?
Yeah. I coached against him and Matt, and I think maybe the second year, 18, they went to that's when they went on up to NCCU. So yeah, I'm very familiar with him.
Yeah. Now,
Um,
this is what I've heard, coach. Tony Clayton and Faulk's relationship is why he became a name.
okay.
Like, excuse me, the AD's not making this hire at all, coach. From Southern fans themselves, this is a Tony Clayton hire.
And I wonder the other thing, and I know we got to get off here, but I
Mhm.
wonder, like, so like in Mississippi, uh, the school can only pay you so much, and then everything else comes from different entities. Is that the same in Louisiana? Anybody in the chat know that?
Well,
How that would
I don't
go?
know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give everyone a chance to respond.
Because I
Now,
wonder how much of that. Let's just say it's five. I wonder how
mhm.
much of that can the school actually pay, and then the boosters, or whatever they call their club, uh, does the rest. Like how much?
So I don't know. Listen, Adrian said that the school can pay whatever, and then someone said then a booster can also do, like I think they got the ability to do either.
Okay, Louisiana does. Okay, cool. Because here in Mississippi, school can only pay you so much. So Lane
Yeah.
Kiffin is topped out at whatever it is, and then the rest of the fan base, the booster club, whatever you want to call it, pays the rest of the coach's salary, so to speak, in Mississippi.
Someone said the way LSU's throwing money around, it can't be capped because they're just they're firing everybody. They're gonna throw a bag at Lane Kiffin, man. Good
90
lord.
million.
I,
That's crazy.
And that's if they land him. Like, he still could stay at Ole Miss. He still could go to Florida. Just insane, man. I don't know, but
You
Coach,
got you
man, we've
back.
been on here for 2 hours, man. Listen, we're gonna be back next week, guys. Me and Coach will work out a day. I'm not sure, maybe Monday, possibly midweek. But listen, it'll probably be an afternoon show, if anything. If not, we'll make an announcement and we'll let you guys know. But man, again, we really appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Coach, we're at almost 700 people across both platforms, man. So shout out to y'all. We love the support, and again, man, we couldn't do this without y'all, man. But for Coach Fred, myself, the Blue Bloods, FCS Football Central on SI, we are out for right now.
Get at me, Mark.